What's up, y'all? Y'all been asking the official how to bowl 2-finger, no thumb tutorial. Stay tuned.
Yeah. If you ain't chasing this money, then I cut you off like it's nothing. I'm a focused and never no bluffing, cause I can't see my family struggling. Hell nah, run it up fast. Stack it up, get in your bag. Hey,
just give me my money.
Hey, ain't nothing but hard workers and playmakers that I really be around.
What's up, y'all? Your boy Slim Fucker here, man. We're back with another SaucedCutzBowling video, man. Today I got this is important. This is what y'all been asking for. Alright? And there's no video across YouTube talking about what I'm gonna talk about today. Today we got your official how to bowl 2-finger, no thumb tutorial. Alright? Teaching you how to bowl, how I bowl, showing you the thought process that I go through, the key points that I need for myself, for my game. Also, she's teaching you how to do it in different ways. I'm gonna go over timing, steps, cadence, flow, push away, tempo, everything. I'm even gonna go over like how I hold the ball, okay? With some essentials you wanna have. Why do I take my fingers, all right? All of that, like you're gonna get all of this in this video, all right? So if you're a 2-finger, no thumb bowler, this is the video for you, for sure, all right? Because I know there's a lot of stuff out there for two-handed bowling and traditional bowling with a thumb, all right? They even got some stuff for backup, but there's nothing out there for us, the bowlers that bowl just one hand, 2 fingers, no thumb. All right, so we're gonna get into it, man. Guys, again, I want to appreciate y'all stopping in with me. I got my guy Powerhouse Carter in the back with me, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? He out here, you feel me? Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up for sure. Like, hype for sure, you know what I'm saying? This is the video that should go viral because a lot of people starting out, traditionally, when they start bowling, we start bowling, of course, as a kid, we start bowling two-handed, right? But then the bowler, average bowler that comes into a bowling house and pick up a house ball, they're not trying to put their thumb in that thumb hole, the nasty thumb hole. So what they do is they actually pick the ball up and then what they take a house ball. One moment. Sorry. They take a house ball and they simply just put their 2 fingers in it and then they roll the ball. Not knowing that what they're doing is generating a lot of RPMs and naturally just letting the ball roll at the hand. So let's have a video for that. All right. So let's get into it, man. Stay tuned, man. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, guys, so first things first, before we get on the lanes, we're gonna talk about the things that I use, the things you may want to get for yourself as far as being a 2-finger, no thumb bowler, all right? First things first is fan. You gotta have a fan, you know what I'm saying? But look, boy, cause these bowling alleys be hot. And some of these bowling alleys be stingy with the AC, but that's a whole nother conversation, so take this down, all right? 2, because it's hot, make sure you got some water, man, you know what I'm saying? They be talking about my water bottle, saying it's like a bombshell, goddamn, or a fire hydrant, but stay hydrated. While we wait, we hydrate. But anyways, all right, so for real, the things that you need in being a 2-finger, no thumb bowler. My first essential thing is tape, okay? What's funny is, being that I don't bowl with a thumb, I use a lot of thumb tape. If you notice how I take my hand, I take my knuckle, so that way there's no pain, all right? Now, when you roll the ball and you hit the ball, pause. For us, what's hitting the ball, what's creating that rev rate is our ring finger. So, to alleviate, you know, pain or things of that nature. Not saying that I have pain, but I use that, you know, just as a brace for my knuckle, all right? So Storm has really good thumb tape. There's all kinds of thumb tape. Genesis, Motive, even on Amazon. Amazon has some really good tape as well. So that's that. So I tape the bottom knuckle. Sometimes I'll double up. And it's just like I said, I use this to hit a lot, okay? Sometimes I used to tape both knuckles, but now I just, you know, I realize that I don't even, and I'll show y'all when I get to this, I don't even put my middle finger in the ball that deep. Pause, all right? So another thing that you're gonna need is a chamois, all right? Why? Because if you notice, a lot of times when we throw a ball in the lane, our ball always picks up oil, okay? That's the flaring. Remember, flaring is simply how much a fresh bowling ball cover stock or fresh bowling ball surface is touching the lane surface, okay? The stronger the ball, the higher the differential, the more flare that ball has. So we got to be able to wipe that oil off because you want to have a consistent shot. You definitely want to wipe the ball oil off, all right? I know that may be like elementary to some people, but I know some people who pick the ball up and just go. My wife. But anyways, with that being said, another thing, being a 2-finger, no thumb bowler, our hands can get moist, all right? Because people say we got sweaty palms, you know what I'm saying? Because we literally palming the ball, all right? So another thing that helps is having these like little grip sacks. Pause. So I like to keep mine in the bag, man, because you ever go to a bowling alley, boy, they have them all, dust all everywhere, so I just keep it in the bag, boom, and then if you can, you'll see it kind of makes your hand like chalk. You know, if you lift weights, you kind of use it as like chalk in a sense. All right. So, you know, this is Eli's. He got like, but so, you know, a little funky jump. But anyways, all right. So those are some of the common essentials. So now kind of going to how I hold the ball. Now, again, bowling is about flow. Everybody has their own flow. All right. So with that being said, for me, people always say, like, how do you hold the ball like that? How do you generate rev rate? What I do is, if you look at my inserts are actually turned. The average bowler inserts actually lie where it's kind of turned here and here. For me, I turn them like that. Why? Because I let this create the rotation. So I go ring finger, and I just let my middle finger just relax just like that. So that's literally how I hold the ball. Now, you don't have to do that, okay? I have some people I coach that create that by just simply doing that. That's fine. But for me, I found this comfortable and more easier to repeat a shot and create the rotation that I want without trying to hit up on it. All right. So those are some of the common essentials. This is what I use. It's things that I literally. Some of the stuff came from out of my bag. Some of the stuff came from out of Eli bag. He's a two-handed bowler. But we have common styles inside of our game. So now let's get onto the lane. All right, guys, so now we're going to talk about lane play. We're going to talk about our bodies and what it's made to do for as a two-finger no-thumb bowler, all right? So with that being said, first things first. In bowling, you got to understand what body parts do what, so that way you can know how to use them efficiently, all right? So here's what I coach people. Even this stuff can help all types of bowlers, whether you're two-handed, traditionally, two-finger no-thumb, things of nature, all right? So for me, this is what I teach people. From here to here is accuracy, okay? This is your rev rate, RPMs. Your legs is your power, your feet is your speed. Never, ever, ever, ever try to sacrifice your accuracy for power and rev rate, okay? What that means is a lot of people, when they get into bowling, they end up popping that elbow out when they try to create more rotation. So they end up getting here and they go here, all right? You don't want to, that's called the chicken wing, you know what I'm saying? You don't want a chicken wing. The real key is you want to keep that elbow inside your body, close to your body, as close as you can, all right? And it doesn't matter about your body frame. It don't have to be super close to your ankle, because, you know, when you got wider shoulders, a big shout out to Mark Baker, when you have wider shoulders, it's kind of tough for us, you know, who work out, you know what I'm saying, who in the gym, you know what I'm saying? Okay, it's kind of tough for us to get super, super, super close to the ankle, so we just try to get as close to the ankle as you can, all right? So knowing that this part is your accuracy, understand that this is, I'll probably say we have a number, I'll say this is probably like, what, 85% of our arm? 15%. So don't magnify or edify rev rate, because rev rate, how to increase your rev rate is simply how quick we get out the ball. And what makes us stand apart from traditional thumb bowlers is we don't have a thumb to clear first to get out the ball. They have to clear the thumb, then get out the ball. We just gotta get out the ball. So understand that to create more rev rate, you have to be more relaxed. The more relaxed you are, the more rev rate and speed and power that you're gonna have. It's like throwing a punch, all right? You want to punch through your target. You try to fight angry, they're not gonna feel that, pause. But the more relaxed you are, the more your punches flow, okay? The more your punches flow, the more efficient and effective they're gonna be, all right? So with that being said, going to power. Remember, power is in here, okay? A lot of people try to generate power from either going harder at the line or trying to like just rip through it like an uppercut, all right? Yes, you want to finish, but understand where your power comes from. It's like in baseball. In baseball, this ain't the home run. Whoop. That's not the home run. The home run's when you literally load up and generate that power from the hips, all right? So like I said, so that's the home run. So understand the build up, the approach is generating that power. All we got to do is now generate that power from the top onto the lane, all right, and through finishing, all right? Next, speed. Speed is simply where you're standing on the lane, okay? So can power generate speed? Yes. So, but with that being said, the further you up on the lane, the slower your ball speed is gonna be. The further back you're gonna be, the faster your ball speed is gonna be. Why? Because now you're building up that cadence, you're building up your tempo, okay? The quicker the cadence, the more speed, okay? The longer the cadence, the more speed. So things in nature, that's how you generate speed. Don't ever try to generate speed where the accuracy is. By simply finishing, it's gonna generate that. Lastly, accuracy is everything. I would rather you be an accurate bowler than a power bowler, okay? Here's what I mean. I'm not saying there's nothing wrong with having power. I have power. But focus on accuracy. Accuracy and efficiency is top tier in this sport. Why? Because I'd rather you hit a target that you want to hit than you throw super, super, super hard in the gutter. You get what I'm saying? So there's nothing wrong with being power. There's nothing wrong with having power. There's nothing wrong with having speed, okay? But it's more efficient and effectively to hit a target. So this is everything. The finish is everything. So we're gonna talk about a lot of that as well, all right? So first things first, hey. So first things first, let's get into my setup and what I do, and then we'll kind of break down to everything else. So, all right, so guys, so let's talk about the setup, all right? The feeling that you want to have while you set up, with, you know, with pressure points to the ball in your hand, embracing your forearm, things of nature. We're gonna talk about all of that, all right? So first things first, as y'all know, all right, first things first, I put my ring finger in first and then my middle finger. That simply creates my torque, all right? Again, bowling is about rhythm and flow, all right? Everybody has their own flow, all right? So how you do what you do doesn't make it wrong just because it's different from somebody else, okay? There's nothing wrong with being different. As long as you can be efficient in that, that's your flow, all right? Once you figure out your flow, then you grow on that. And there'll be some things you may take out, there'll be some things you may change, there'll be some things you may figure out, as long as you're in flow. Well, simple, how do you know that you're in flow? It feels good, it feels effortless, you're not trying too hard, you're not overcompensating on something, you're not falling off on the approach, you're not losing control, you know, you're hitting what you want to hit, all right? It may not strike all the time, but you can repeat that shot. That's flow. That's how you know you're in flow state, that's what people saying, all right? So let's get into it. So again, this is how I do it. So, first things first, ring finger in. All right, and I'm setting up. Now, you want to get into the slight athletic position, so slight knee bend, all right? And that's here, okay? You don't want to stand up too lock-kneed. If you do stand up lock-kneed, as you're walking, we're going to land the plane with our hips anyway, and we'll get to that part, all right? So, but as you set up, as you see, my hand is flat. I see a lot of two-finger no-thumb bowlers and two-handed bowlers when they start, they're starting cuffed, and that can create some pain here. You see, it's like a flexion here. So, with that being said, start uncuffed, and then as you start to walk, you start your push away. Allow the push away to create the cuff, okay? All right? Another point before I get started. In bowling, you don't want to muscle anything. And what I mean by muscling isn't like throwing hard, or muscling isn't having the power or having the speed. Muscling is when you impede this motion with some form of force. The free pendulum arm swing, okay? Even though we don't have a thumb tour, we have that elongated arm downswing or backswing, we still have some kind of pendulum swing, or even if it's a cradle as a two-hander, right? As long as it's free, okay? We don't want to muscle, meaning the push away is important. So the push away helps create that momentum, that helps create that swing. Why? I throw 16 pounds, okay? This is uncomfortable, okay? That's what we want. We want to be free in that moment. So with that being said, when you create that push away, I see a lot of people start here and then they lift up. That's kind of sense muscling, but you want to get to the point to where you're pushing towards your target, okay? You don't want to push too far this way. You don't want to push too far up. You want to push towards your target and then let that ball kind of really create its own swing, okay? Now, from there, muscling in that would be if you get here, you kind of shorten the push away, and then you bring the ball down, and you got to bring it back forward. That's muscling, okay? So what we want to do is, for me, what I do is, and I walk left like Belmo. The reason I walk left is for my projection, okay? Now, simply setting up, if you want to open up your hips more, you simply just take your right leg and kind of go back. If you notice, I'm already open now. But for me, I stand like kind of just slightly staggered, but my first step is to the left. Boom, boom, and then on the third step, I'm rolling. So I guess we can get to timing. Timing in bowling is important. Timing is literally everything. If your timing is off, that can literally, it's like an engine in a car. When your timing is off, it can throw off everything, all kind of lights on. You falling off at the line, you throwing it together, you're not hitting it at the bottom, you're not, like all kinds of stuff can be off, simply from timing. All right, now again, bowling's about flow. So here is the ground rules of timing, okay? We're talking about ground, no outliers, boom. If you bowl with a thumb, which we don't, but if you bowl with a thumb, if you take 5 steps, you're pushing on the second. Boom, 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 boom. If you bowl with a thumb and you take 4 steps, you're pushing immediately. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, for us and two-handed bowlers, so two-finger no thumb and two-handed bowlers, our timing is a lot later. Why? Because we don't have a thumb and we don't have the long backswing or the long pendulum swing. So our timing is later. So on 5 steps, we need to be pushing that ball somewhere around 2.5 to 3, our third step. So meaning in the sense of this, I push on the third step. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Two-handed bowlers. If you take 5 steps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right? Again, somewhere around 2.5 to 3. Belmo pushes it like 2.8, 2.6 sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So it's all about flow. This is what I say. The longer the push away, the sooner you have to get that ball going. If your push away is long, there's some people who push super, super high. They have to get started earlier. Why? Because if they start super, super late, they're going to be late at the line. When they step, they're going to end up bringing the ball down, and that leads to muscling. All right? So remember, our timing is a lot later. So for me and how I bowl, I take 5 steps, and I'm pushing on the third step, okay? So here's what it look like. Then I drift left. Let me go back. The reason why I drift left is because for me, it helps me project the ball a little better, all right? So I go like Belmo, got it from Belmo. I go 1, 2, and now on my third step, I'm pivoting and I'm pushing towards my target. So without the ball, it looks something like this. You know, all that kind of stuff. All right, so let me gear up, let me throw a shot, show you what it look like, show the things I'm talking about, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, so what we're gonna do is now we're gonna get to a couple shots, a full shot of how I roll the ball, all right? And I'm gonna try to go over some culture points, like some things to remember. And if there's any things that y'all have questions about, y'all know me, man, like I'm an open book. Ask questions in the comments. I genuinely reply. Y'all know that, right? So don't be afraid to ask questions, all right? So let's get set up, man. We're about to be 10 back. So I get set up with my target is on the inside of my plant foot, all right? So for example, if that's 20, I'm standing like that, all right? So I take 5 steps. I can take 5 steps from anywhere, but we'll get into that. All right, so with that being said, no, I ain't strike y'all. But all right, so with that being said, so that's my approach. All right, slight, Belmo left, third step, pivot step, push, roll the ball. Now, that's another point. You want to roll the ball. Bowling is a rolling sport. That is important. Bowling is a rolling sport, not a throwing sport. A lot of times, a lot of people see me bowl, they see powerhouse bowl, or you know, they see somebody who got a lot of speed, and they say, boy, that boy cooking that thing down the lane, boy. Like, no, we're relaxed, but because we're so relaxed and we're generating our power and we're landing the plane with our hips, all right, that's important. As we're walking, you want to be able to land the plane with your hips, all right? Boom. We're landing the plane with our hips to where now we're going from a semi-athletic position to an athletic position, all right? In any sport you play, low man wins, all right? You name it. I'm pretty sure y'all find one that they don't. But in bowling, you want to land the plane with your hips to where once you get low, now you're generating that power accurately from here to here, okay? So posting the shot is imperative. You gotta post the shot. Posting the shot yields is letting your body know and your other pieces know that you're letting them work for you. When you getting up here and you start muscling and you trying to create rev rate with your accuracy and you trying to create power with your fist, you're saying power is not in your legs. So you want to get here and you just post the shot. Let me say this. If you're falling off, meaning you throw a shot and you can't hold it, or if you're, some people do this, all right? What that's saying is you're either not low enough, 2, you're muscling, and 3, you're not rolling the ball, okay? This is a rolling sport. Bowling is a rolling sport. The more you roll the ball, the more you get out of the ball. I promise you, all right? It's a big difference from when I throw the ball to when I roll the ball. My ball motion looks better. The speed is there. Like everything I want to see, skid, hook, roll, you get to see the ball motion. That's what you want. And you're more accurate, all right? So let's get some side views of me rolling the ball and we'll close this thing out. Another piece I need to talk about is embracing the forearm, okay? I say this a lot when people message me and say, hey, how do you roll the ball like the way you do? Sometimes I feel like I'm losing it. It's because you're not embracing that forearm. Here's what I mean. So, when we naturally roll the ball, or when we start our our cadence or whatever. When we go to push, we kind of, and sometimes I see people carrying the ball here, and sometimes the ball is touching their forearm, or they're not genuinely embracing the forearm, meaning like purposely put the ball on the forearm in the swing. Allow momentum to carry the swing. Don't carry the ball, if that makes sense. So don't try to hold the weight of the ball and you cranking it like that. Literally let the push away create that momentum, and from there, it's simply embrace. I'm literally putting my forearm on the ball. And then from there, I simply just roll the ball, all right? So that looks like this. So again, we start here, don't start here. That can cause a lot of pain. Here. All right, so that's important. All right, real quick, I kind of want to talk about the difference between tempo, cadence, and timing. Cadence is simply in your bowling steps, the timing in between your steps, or I'm gonna say spacing in between your steps, your cadence. All right. So for example, if you take 5 steps, you should be able to take those amount of steps from anywhere on the approach. Meaning, I take 5 steps. If I'm in a house shot, I'm probably right in front of the dots from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I'm on a really tight sports shot and I gotta play like tight, I'm taking them same 5 steps from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you ever see me pick up a split, or I'm trying to put Mick Jeter on the ball, I can take those same 5 steps from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The difference is the spacing in between my steps, which is the cadence. Now, the timing stays the same. What do I mean? The difference between timing and cadence is, in each of those examples, those 3, my timing stayed the same. I still push the ball when on the 3rd step for me in my approach, okay? So remember that. And lastly, we're gonna talk about the backswing, all right? In bowling, I wanna credit EJ Tackett for this. EJ has like a sort of like a figure 8 when he bowls. Why? Because it helps him get the elbow back inside. And man, once he get in that position, it's money, right? So for me, I tell myself, it's not a big figure 8, but I tell myself the figure 8. Why? Because it helps me get the elbow inside. The more you get the elbow inside, from there you rotate here and you shake God's hand. Literally, I'm here, push, and it's a sense of once I get here, I feel that elbow come back to me, and now I'm shaking hands with God, okay? Shaking hands with God for me is posting the shot and ensuring that my tricep gets through whatever it is I'm looking at the arrows, okay? So here's what that looked like. All right, so showing y'all just different views so that way now you can see the figure 8, me getting the elbow back inside and then shaking hands with God. So what it looks like from the back view. Pause. And also you can see how far I drift. Now, we'll talk about it later. All right, so there you saw, you got the back view of it, of how far I drift. My drift is approximately like 5 boards, all right? But what I wanted to magnify and edify was how I get here. I don't go super far out, but when I get here, I'm making sure the elbow come back inside. Elbow coming back inside, if you watch, it naturally puts my hand here. Now I'm behind the ball how I want to be. When people say they want to get behind the ball, they really just simply mean below the equator of the ball. So you may hear somebody say, get behind the ball. They're not necessarily saying like just you behind it, because this is not behind the ball is what they're saying. They're saying you're getting under the ball. But when I get my elbow inside, look where I'm at. I'm literally under the equator, and all I gotta do is get out. How fast I get out the ball, that creates the rev rate, right? So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do some montage of different like shot views, some high roller ball, some front views, some side views, some back views, the other side, so that way y'all can really see like the intricate things I was talking about. And I'm also play each one of them in slow motion, so that way you can have like a slow-mo version of how somebody rolls 2-finger, no thumb, all right? So let's get to those views. All right, guys, that was the montage of just my form of how I roll the ball, guys. So that way we can have like some slow-mos out there on YouTube of us 2-finger no-thumb bowling, guys. You know what I'm saying? But before I close this video out, one last thing I want to talk about that I didn't get to talk about that I do, that's important, is I'm a planter, meaning when I go to roll the ball, I don't slide, I plant. All right. Now, it's a myth out there. They call us knee busters, and they say we have problems with our knees. But again, if you're in the athletic position, you're ready for whatever. You get what I'm saying? So, but if you're not in the athletic position, meaning when you go to plant and you're over your toe, that's when you can cause injury to your knee. It's kind of like when you work out or when you're squatting or you're lifting something. All right. And when you lifting weights, when you squat, you want to squat to where as if you're sitting on the toilet, for real. So the squat form is here. All right. You sit down like you sit on the toilet and you sit down. The emphasis is I should be able to stick a good squat. I should be able to stick a pole through your knee and it goes through the heel or the mid part of your feet. If when you squat when your knee is over your toe, that's a bad squat. That's where injury and pain comes from. Same thing in bowling. If you're planting and you go to plant and your knee is over your toe, that's where you can cause a lot of injury to your knee. So if you notice, when I go to finish my form, once I start my approach, again, I'm in a semi-athletic position, and then I get to an athletic position by simply landing the plane with my hips, as y'all see. And now once I plant, I'm in a position to be able to feel painless when I plant. I actually feel like I'm just stepping in a sense, all right? So again, I had to touch on that because I think that's a very important concept. A lot of people think you have to slide. You do not have to slide, okay? So don't get me wrong, I try sliding, but I feel like I'm on ice skates when I'm out there. I'm like, shh, shh, shh. But I can't do it. I can't do it, not yet at least. But so yeah, that's something I want to talk about. So guys, let's get ready to close this bad boy out, man. You know what I'm saying? First, I want to give a big shout out to Tom Doherty. Tom Doherty is a professional PBA bowler who is a 2-finger no-thumb bowler who has championships under his belt, who's been doing this for a while. He has a higher push away though, however, but he's smooth and he rolls the ball really great. So big shout out to Tom Doherty. I appreciate you, bro, for being somebody in the sport that bowls like me, you know, so that's kind of cool. Big shout out to my guy, Eli Powerhouse Carter. Big shout out to Ethan Stanley here at Buffalo Lanes Irwin. Big shout out to Buffalo Irwin Lanes. Big shout out to the pro shop here at B&B Lanes. Guys, make sure y'all stop by, see my guy Andrew the James, man. He'll get you right. At 1-800, get you right, my dog. You feel me, boy? So let's get ready to close this bad boy out. I got who I got with me today? Luke, wanna close out? Ready? What's your name?
Luke.
Luke what?
Martin.
Luke Martin. All right, you ready to close out? All right, so guys, make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, hype this video up, man. This is important, a great video. Most importantly, remember, what they gotta remember?
New frame, new game.
New frame, new game. Peace. Where your peace sign at? All right.
Every day, same grind, same time, stay positive, y'all. Ain't trying to link, yeah. If there won't be no profit involved, let's put our heads together, get a master plan to get a stacking bands. Or every time you need to hold some cash, you wanna ask your mans. If you ain't chasing this money, then I cut you off like it's nothing.
Officially, officially how to bowl 2-finger no-thumb tutorial. The official 2-finger how to bowl. I said official 2-finger how to bowl. The official how to bowl 2-finger no-thumb tutorial. Stay tuned. All right. What's up, y'all? The official how to bowl 2-finger no-thumb tutorial. That's rage bait. So, God, come on, man. All this burping coming from. God, dog. So, you might can get a back. Whoa. Cut that out. Cut that out. What did he say? Cut that out.